Ranking midfielders with Marnie Cohen. This is going to be fun. We're on. We're back.
Let's do it.
We're back in the studio.
We both had haircuts.
Well, we did both have haircuts.
For those
and we're
who are
just
watching
talking
on
about
YouTube.
that. If only I knew a place to get a good haircut, but I just don't. So
I do actually. Funny you should say
where's that, Marnie?
There's this place called Black and Brown Barber Shop in Mitcham.
Wow.
I heard there's a guy named Josh that cuts hair there as well.
He didn't cut my hair. Absolutely, I wouldn't touch him. That's for sure.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, I've heard good things.
Thank you so much.
If you do need a haircut, Black and Brown Barbers in Mitcham.
shameless plug to start, which is fantastic. But we're here for much bigger things, Marnie. Now
It's not a haircut chat. For
No,
45 minutes?
we're not. No.
You got me all this way. I thought that's what we were here for.
I thought I was going to cut your hair live on the podcast, and you've already cut it.
Sorry, guys. So underwhelming. We'll have to settle with the second best thing,
Almost
I guess, then.
as underwhelming as North Melbourne's forwards. Now, we did the forward rankings last episode. There was some controversial takes, some players where we feel like maybe we were harsh but fair.
It wouldn't be a Further North podcast without a couple controversial takes.
No, absolutely not. And we're here for some more.
Yes,
Because
great.
we're going to do the midfielders.
Awesome.
So strap in, guys. Now, remember, I'm going to say this again. We're ranking on expectation versus reality and what they delivered. So we'll sort of chat about what we thought they would do at the start of the year compared to what they delivered. We'll give a ranking and then we're going to get out of here, basically. And you guys can deliberate in the comments and tell us how wrong or right we are, respectfully, of course.
Of course.
Now, the midfielders, Marnie.
Yes.
Luke Davies-Uniacke. Let's talk about him. How do you feel his season went overall?
Do you want like my analysis or my rating?
Well, okay. What was the expectation going in for LDU this year?
I think we were expecting him to explode. One of the hot takes we actually had at the start of the year from the listeners was that he could finish top 10 in the Brownlow if he played the full season. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Okay, well I do. And
I bet. Are you sure it wasn't you that said that?
No, I didn't say that. It was
sounds
someone
like something
sent
you'd
in.
say.
Yeah, it does sound like something.
It was Hugh Greenwood. Yeah.
It is something that sounds like something I would say, actually. No, but he did. So someone did write in and say that they thought that LDU, if fit, would finish top 10 in the Brownlow. Probably won't finish top 10 in the Brownlow. I wouldn't have thought. I think I was probably expecting him to explode this year. I think that all the stars had sort of aligned. If he could finally get because he was showing real signs of edging on superstar.
Yeah, okay.
At points of last season, however, he was injured and he couldn't really get any consistency. This year, fit for the most part, and played just about every. Did he play every game? Just about every game.
Or did he miss one?
I think,
yeah.
or something. So pretty much played every game. Was always in it and always in and amongst it. There was just a really big difference between some of his 30-plus touch games where half of them were turnovers and then other, 30-plus touch games. Then he kicked 3 goals and had 10 clearances and he's just superstar.
His last few rounds, underwhelming. I guess that was a time for him to step up and really lead, especially when we had some players out like a Shizu and whatnot. I expected massive things from LDU. We both tipped him for the best and fairest.
Yeah.
What he delivered, consistently finding the ball, but I would say maybe 60% of the 65% of the time was a star, and the other amount of time was probably a little bit underwhelming. He'd still get 30 touches, but the lack of impact on the game. So off the top of my head, if I'm going to rank LDU, I'm thinking B.
I would say probably had an A. And I'm trying to, because I understand, yes, it's expectation versus reality. But he didn't step up
from the year before, I don't think.
But compared to majority, there's only one person on this list I'm looking at that I would give him probably a higher ranking. I think that you've got to take a step back and the expectation on him, sure, but how the conversation around him hasn't changed. Everyone is still acknowledging him as definitely our best midfielder and one of the premier players in the competition.
I'll be honest. If I'm thinking he got an A, that means it's nearly a perfect season, which to me means he is a top 10 in the Brownlow. He's an All-Australian. I think that means it's an A season, which is incredible. That's why I think B. I think B is just above par. I'd say C to C plus is C plus would be par for me in this ranking.
Okay.
You could nearly convince me on a B plus, but I think A means he's definitive top 10 midfielder, all Australian, and was better than last season.
He still will finish top 3 in our best and fairest.
I know, but our best and fairest is
I still think he's
weak.
had a really, really great season.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I just don't think he elevated beyond expectation. I think he sort of did what I thought he would do. His good games are really, really good. He had games where he was a bit anonymous. I think it's par for me. You could convince me on I think B. You could convince me on B+. But
Well, I think we have to go B+ because I would give him an A. So we've got to find a happy ground. So
all right. Well, we're going to do this.
We're going to go B+.
I feel like, and just from my gut feeling this, Marnie, I feel like you're going to want to give everyone an A.
No, I don't. He's the only one. No, there's the top 3 that are like looking at this list, which you guys will see.
Do you agree with what I'm saying though, where I think A means he's like all Australian and stuff? Because I think that's kind of his level, right? We were talking about him. He's going to explode into a top 10 mid in the game.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's hard. Like, I would have thought that like someone like Tristan Cherry would have had a perfect season, but then he wasn't voted as, he didn't make the All-Australian, like the final All-Australian team.
I know, but then his expectation was probably to be a D or an F. And then spoiler alert, Tristan Cherry's probably getting an A+.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I haven't written the ruckman down here as well, but I'll write them in a second. Okay. Anyway, George Wardlaw.
Yeah, he had a great season. And as well, he obviously came runner-up in the Rising Star. Unfortunately, in and out of the side. No soft tissue injuries this time. It was more a concussion issue for Georgie. Love what he brings to the side. Love his hard aggression, fearlessness, attack on the footy. At times probably didn't step up to the level that I might have expected him to as well. But overall, I think he had a great season as well. And it's hard, like how much of a difference did the concussion stuff make in the second half of the season? Because
all we can go off is what he delivered. And I think I agree with you. I think he was more consistent this year, which is a plus.
His season this year was better than last season, I
But
think.
did he deliver what I was hoping for? I don't think so. I think he was still a bit too inconsistent for me. Because what was my expectation of Wardlaw was, all the highlights we saw from him, I kind of want him to do, 9 times out of 10 in games.
Yeah.
Injuries, yes, like concussions, but I don't want to use that as an excuse. I guess he dished up what he dished up. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's as good as LDU. I think LDU was probably better, and I know this is a ranking on expectation versus reality. My expectation was incredibly high, personally, of George Wardlaw, and he probably didn't quite meet it. That doesn't mean he didn't have a good year, though.
Okay.
So I feel like B- because he was still very good, but there was a lot of games where he only had 12, 15 touches, and he needed to get in the game a little bit more. Now I know you want to rank him higher. I can see the twinkle in your eye.
Yes, I do.
But I don't know. He surely can't be beating your expectation of what you thought he was going to do this year.
I think it's hard to give him a genuine ranking.
He played enough games. He played more than enough games. You can. The only ones we didn't rank last time were injured players, basically. Or players in
I
play.
don't think this is a battle I'm going to win. So
you tell me what you think. We can compromise.
I think if you're finishing runner-up in the Rising Star, I think that speaks volumes in itself. I thought his first half. This is the thing. His first half of the year was better than his second half of the season, and the second half of the season is when he was in and out because of concussion. So I don't know how much of that plays a part in his performance across the board.
Two of the best players did get suspended from the Rising Star race as well. So, and I think
you can
McKercher...
only judge on what happened.
Oh, I mean...
I'm not winning this, so it's not a discussion.
No. I think you've been a bit lenient, that's all. I think you've been a little bit lenient. I know you want to give all of them high rankings, but did he, yes or no, did he beat your expectation of what you thought this year? Because he didn't for me, but once again, doesn't mean he was bad. I liked what I saw from him, but he didn't beat what I thought he'd do.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what we're here to figure out, Marnie.
I don't know.
Give us a ranking.
Whatever, like B. I don't know. What I was going to rank him is gone now, so we'll go with a B-.
You tell me.
I've just cracked the shits.
Marnie's absolutely cracked the shits.
Oh God, great start. Yeah. Okay, fine.
What would you have given?
I would have given both him and LDU an A.
Okay. I feel
But
like
that's clearly not how you want the ranking system to go.
No.
So then I would say a B then in comparison to last year.
all I want to ask is what makes you want to give him an A? Because of like if he didn't meet your expectation, it doesn't mean he's
He
bad.
didn't not meet my expectation.
So you didn't expect him to play better than he did.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
It's just a gut feel on how I felt like his season went. I think he had a good year.
Okay. Well, good luck to us for the rest of these. Harry Sheasel. I think this one's fairly easy, but you tell me, Marnie.
Yeah, well, you're going to give him a C.
I don't think I'm the problem here.
A plus. I like rising.
You got this. Everything's fine. We're doing
All
fine.
Australian squad.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance he'll finish in the top 20 of the Brownlow, even though he missed the last 2 games of the year.
I also agree with you.
Great.
A plus. Because he couldn't, what more could he have done
No.
all year?
No.
And this is more my theory behind it. So yeah. Maybe we should have dove into exactly why we're doing this before the pod. But we're here now. And we're rolling.
This will make for great listening, I'm sure.
Look, this is a period in time in North Melbourne season, Marnie, where we're waiting for trades and free agency. We need
You were waiting
content.
for trades and free agency.
What are you waiting for?
To go home and watch the Gold Coast Suns free play again.
Yeah, oh my God. All right, swiftly moving on. Tom Powell. What did you expect from Tom Powell this year?
Well, I didn't expect him to cement his spot in the 22.
Neither did I.
Which he has done very well.
Mm-hmm.
I would give him an A, but the only reason I would give him an A over an A plus is he just came bursting onto the scene at the start of the year, cemented his spot, but he teed it off.
Yes.
So he kind of, and I don't know if that's he made this massive impression in the start of the year and then we were just so used to what he was able to deliver week in, week out that, kind of maybe the novelty of it, for lack of a better word, wore off. But I also think he had a few games he was just really quiet and didn't really have much of an impact. So based on that, I would give him an A.
Okay.
Comparison to what he was last season and what I thought going into this season. That is why I would give him an A over an A plus.
Okay. My gut feeling was B plus because much higher than my expectation. But I guess the patch, when everyone was clicking, he was probably one of the ones that dropped off. And he was really good in that first half of the year. After the bye, did drop off a lot, but came good maybe the last few rounds. I was going to say a B plus. Do you want to go in the middle and go A minus?
Sure.
Okay. This is good compromise, Marnie. I like where we're going. Now you're getting the hang of it.
I'm getting the hang of it, guys.
She's here, she's hip, and she's with it. All right. Thumbs up. Controversial one.
Yep.
Our captain, Jai Simpkin. What was your expectation of Jai Simpkin?
To be a strong leader and a solid leader. I think that was really what he needed.
What about
to
on
do.
the field, though? Because I think he did, like, leadership-wise, I think he did that.
No, see, I've always seen the two of, like, Jai and Luke McDonald. I've always seen Luke McDonald as, like, the spiritual off-field leader, the one to rally the troops, to be the morale culture guy, and for Jai Simpkin to be the on-field leader. Jai Simpkin had 2 excellent games this season.
Yeah.
One of those games was the last round of the year and we got absolutely pelted.
Another one was West
The other
Coast.
one was West Coast.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Underwhelming.
quite underwhelming.
Yes. So my expectation was definitely, I mean, I remember you saying at the start of the year when we were doing our best 22 that Jai Simpkin needs to be in the midfield in our best 3 midfielders because your captain should be in the midfield.
100%.
Well, and he kind of was that, but I don't think he was in our best 3 midfielders.
No, he wasn't.
So my gut here for Jai is probably going C minus.
Yeah.
I think it feels harsh, but my expectation's quite high. I really do back Jai to come back next year and really improve. I think people are a little bit harsh on him, but my expectation was pretty high, and I feel like yours was too for him, especially being the captain, and he didn't really live up to that. So,
No, overall he had a bang average year.
Do you think C minus is
100%? That's exactly
not
what I
too
would have
harsh?
gone. No, I would have gone the same.
All right.
Maybe a C I would have gone, but
Do we want to try and rally for a C? Do you want to give me some look? if we're going to try and get him to C, how do you feel like we'd get him there? I know he's a couple of games.
He needed to have, like, for him to have an average year, he needed 3 performances like that. Like, he only had 2. He needed 1 more to get, like...
Plus more consistency, obviously, and being able to hit a target by foot would be nice. C, it's got to be C-. And
I know he was also in and out. This is the thing. Like, I know he was in and out of the side, and you just don't know how that impacts players, but he played majority of the year. I would have thought that would have been enough for us to...
Yeah, obviously the concussion at the start was bad, but he played more than enough games to give him a fair ranking. So, look, if you're on the field, I think you got to be 100%. I know you don't have to be, but my mean is if you're on the field, we've got to take it as they're ready to play and they're ready to perform. And I think, I think it's harsh, but or I don't think it's harsh. I think it's a harsh rating, but I think it's a fair rating.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy with superstar potential. Now, I know you want to give him an A+. I know you want to give him an A+ just for his potential alone. Now, remember, this isn't Curtis Taylor's potential. This is Curtis Taylor's season.
It's interesting with Curtis Taylor because up until probably like round 20 last season, I thought he was gone. And then he played a couple of really good games at the end of last season that just about cemented
saved him for another year.
Spot in the side for another year. I thought he played okay when he came into the seniors this year. And there were at times he definitely was having an impact and making a difference. But that was fleeting moments. Like, I don't think it was anything. And the fact that he was dropped, after a few games probably echoes that. But did I think that he would be a lock for the 22 this year? No. So on that, I'd probably go also a C-. It feels weird to give him and Jai the same ranking.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what I expected for him this year, it was he was probably slightly under performing compared to what I thought he would when he did play.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I expected from Curtis Taylor this year. He played a handful of games. He probably get 4 or 5 games. He had a couple where you were like, he might be all right, but...
Superstar potential.
Well, you called it early, Marnie. I'm really torn on what to give him. I feel like it might have been like a par or slightly above average. And I know, once again, I think it's important to reiterate a few times. We're not saying Curtis Taylor had a good season compared to everybody else. It's more of his own expectations. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to go right on par. I kind of want to go C. I want to go C+.
So we'll go C.
C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Like, I think he had...
Would you have given him less? What would you have given him?
C-.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this one's close to home.
I don't know if I can actually give you an objective answer here.
How about I give you my thoughts and you can just tell me how you feel?
Sure.
Unfortunately, we thought Hugh would be in the team a lot more.
We're talking about Hugh Greenwood, but for everyone who hasn't picked up
if anyone
the vibe,
didn't pick up on that, it's your first time listening to this podcast.
Welcome to Further North.
I think we love Hugh Greenwood, but
I actually am in love with Hugh Greenwood.
Yeah, we know.
For those who don't know.
So that's enough,
You must
mate.
be
It's my time to speak. You just sit back and relax for a second and we'll talk about Hugh Greenwood. Okay. I think he played a lot less than we all thought. I think he probably played less than he thought. And it's not him as a player or anything like that. But I think just nowhere near the opportunity. Was that his fault? I don't necessarily believe so. I think it was more a coaching decision. But that being said, I think we've got to go like a C- or a D+. And it's not because of the man or the player. I just thought he'd probably play at least half the games, and he played 3, I think, all up.
He played 3 games.
So once again, not because of him. I think he's a ripping bloke. And
Victim of the system.
But I think he honestly, and not even just because I'm sitting in the room with you, I genuinely think he should have played way more games.
Yeah, 100% he should have. He was definitely a victim of the system.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of the more baffling calls.
When the midfield needed strength, leadership, and a big body and defensive-minded something in there, he was the go-to. I understand he's a bit slow and stuff like that, but there's plenty of other holes in this team that we don't address. So we may as well put someone in there who could give us something different, and we didn't. along with not seeing a Zerha or a Curtis in the midfield very much, it was strange we didn't mix up that midfield group more.
He also didn't play badly when he played.
No, there was one game down in Tassie, I think he barely touched the footy, but other than that, I thought he competed well and he offered something different around a contest.
Well, I mean, he played all of his games in the first half of the year. So he played
a lot of
gather
forward
round.
too.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? He played gather round, he played against Geelong the week later, and then he played in Darwin against the Suns a couple of weeks after that, right? And yeah, okay, maybe the grounds where he played, like that would have suited him. But he was playing up forward we were getting pelted in the first half of the season.
We barely got the ball in our forward
He
line.
barely had any midfield minutes when he did play. And it just frustrates me because this team needed leadership so desperately. Just to deviate, but similar, the VFL like best team, the equivalent of the All Australian for the VFL.
Yes,
was,
he did make that, didn't he?
Was released during this week, and he was named in the squad. So clearly, he still had enough to offer, and he should have played more games at AFL level. It's hard to disagree with the ranking. I think a D plus, unfortunately, is what it is, but it just frustrates me because he had so much to offer, and he's 100% a victim of the system here.
Yeah, I think D plus, and we'll give him the plus because I think he was a bit of a victim of the system. Other than that, realistically, I think it's probably less than that, but I think D plus is fair. So we'll go D plus.
My soul is actually crying.
I knew that one was going to hurt you, Marnie, and I knew this was about the midway point of our rankings here.
Thank you for taking the reins.
And look, I knew you were going to get emotional.
I've been emotional this whole episode.
Well, you didn't start very well, Marnie, because
I think
you need to get in the groove.
I think I was a bit confused and a bit thrown by the
and this is what
system.
This is why I've explained every 30 seconds, especially in the last episode.
It's actually less for you guys and more for me.
It's more for Marnie. I just knew that all the comments were going to be like, okay, let's have a look at, I've got the rankings for forwards here just to deviate for 1 second, right? We gave Larky a B and Teakle an A minus, right? Teakle's expectation was nothing and he was fantastic, filling that role. Yeah. Larky had an underwhelming season, but I just knew people were going to be like, oh, Larky a B and Teakle an A minus. Larky's way better. It's not the ranking.
Just get in the take the rankings in the context.
100%.
I've also learned that lesson, guys. We're on a journey together.
Marnie has learned that lesson as well. Clearly, I'm the overseer of all, the almighty Messiah. Yep. Marnie was a disciple and now she is ranking up a little bit. She's getting with it and I'm really proud of you.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
That is fine. I've
gone from a B plus to an A minus.
Well, you started low. D plus and we're in the C's, but then we'll see what we're at the end because we've got half the midfield left.
Okay.
It is going to be very funny for me to listen back to you melding down at the George Wardlaw bit because you were proper. You spat
guys,
the dummy.
You can't say I don't give you good entertainment. Okay.
That's true. That's why you're here.
I'm here for the content.
Bailey Scott,
victim of the system.
Do you? Oh well, I guess in the first chunk of the year, yes.
Don't you reckon? Like
not for the majority of the year though. They moved him back to the wing pretty. quickly.
And I think he had a really good second half of the year, but his season on a whole and his season, I had him as my surprise.
I was going to say you had him in the All Australian.
So definitely underwhelming to that. But again, how much of that was the fact that he was played out of position for a third of the season?
This is your own expectation, and we combine them to form a.
So I guess probably
opinion.
Based on my expectation, I would give him like a B.
I was feeling
maybe
B minus.
Like a B minus.
I was thinking
probably
B
somewhere
minus.
around that.
I'm trying to think what my expectation was. He probably was nearly par, maybe slightly under my expectation. I think I probably expected a little bit more, but I wasn't expecting All Australian from him. But I do know how good of a player he can be.
Well, I mean, he finished in the top 3 for our best and fairest. He finished third in our best and fairest last year. So I actually think this should have been the year where he went one step above. And here I am sitting here again thinking, well, he basically started the year in defence.
Yeah, rubbish. Yeah,
and it's like how much of that would have killed his confidence? Like this is just what...
Easy, Marnie.
Yeah, I'm too emotional this episode.
She's emotional.
So yeah.
I think B minus is pretty spot on.
Guys, I just want to say one thing.
Oh God.
Josh has spelt Bailey's name Bailee.
I did. Well, and you know what happened? I'm pretty sure.
Hit me.
I'm pretty sure I typed with the Y at the end, and I think it's changed it because I remember going to type Bailey like that and going, that's not right. I'm going to change that. And I feel like autocorrect may have changed that because I was just looking at that and I'm like, that's not how you spell his name. And I'm pretty sure I spelled it that way.
You
and
also
I went to change
got
it.
Aiden Core with an E-N and Biggie with a Y instead of an I-E.
I'm pretty sure Biggie is a Y.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's I-E.
His name's also not Biggie, so who really cares? I did the Aiden thing on purpose because I knew it would upset you.
In case I'm not riled enough in this in this episode.
Well, hey, once again, it's basically like the pits of off-season content before trades and free agency. We need entertainment. I need to set you off somehow.
He doesn't pay me for this either.
No. I asked her to not come back and she still shows up. It's wild. Anyway, let's talk about Liam
crikey.
Shields, a podcast favourite.
I love Liam Shields.
Liam Shields is a nice guy.
He's the best.
I think he's well over it. Like, he's got to be in the A's. Yeah. Not because of that's how he played, but once again, we didn't expect him to play more than half the game.
I'd say B+, only because...
Ooh, okay.
Didn't expect him to play as much as he did, but also he's a triple premiership player.
Yeah,
like,
but
we know he's a great player.
Really mid-30s.
He also had a really good season last year. And he didn't really show any signs of slowing down.
But I think bringing in, and we'll talk, and one's one of my guys, like bringing in a Dylan Stevens or, other, like even a Curtis Taylor, Charlie Lazaro, another one. Like he basically knocked all those guys out of the team. Yes, Marnie, I know you like Charlie Lazaro. So at minimum, I think my gut's telling me at least A-. But I think my expectation was he would play I thought he was going to do what Hugh Greenwood did. And I would nearly switch. I know, I'm sorry. But I thought Shields would probably get 3 to 5 games.
At all the open wounds.
Sorry, there's a lot of them. So it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
I want to go A. If you want to go B.
Go A-.
A-.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he is a great player.
He's a very good role player. Even on those premiership teams, he's a very, very good role player.
You need them to let the superstars shine.
I think in an ideal scenario, we don't see much of Liam Shields on the field for us this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay, A-. A-.
Okay, I'm curious. Dylan Stevens, you tell me what you think and your ranking before I say anything.
Underwhelming. I don't think he was as bad as everyone thought, but nowhere near enough of the ball. I think, once again, I've said this heaps. When he got the ball, I think he used it really well, and I think he was good. Mm-hmm. First half of that season, massive victim of the system.
Yeah.
Found the ball a little bit more after the bye, but still not enough. Mm-hmm. So I would probably... C- is also too high, to be honest. I kind of want to go... I think it's got to be a D or a D+. Look, he's my guy and I back him, but I'm an honest guy and I'm not going to pretend that he was better than he was.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, well...
That would have taken a lot.
Yeah, well, just like you with Hugh Greenwood.
It's also going to take a lot for you to give Aiden Core an A+ when we get to the Defender episode. I actually probably won't get called up for that, guys, so Josh can get away with that.
Yeah. Marnie's absolutely not doing the Defenders. This is enough Marnie for about a week or so, and then we'll get her back another time.
Yeah, I'd say probably maybe a D. D+ maybe.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I want to try and find a reason to give him D+, but I think it's probably more like a D, especially coming in on a decent contract and expectation. Look, I don't think expectation was crazy high from the general North community.
Yeah, I think everyone was relatively excited.
But I think
top 5 draft pick.
Yeah, we all thought he'd hold his spot for most of the year.
I agree. The difference between him getting maybe a D+ to a D is if we had won that Melbourne game. Because he was instrumental in the comeback. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the best individual quarters we've seen from a player across the board this season for North. And that, I think, that's give him credit where credit's due. But outside of that, he didn't do heaps.
Didn't do heaps, no. I reckon he started a lot of games incredibly well. And then just faded. And that's the thing. For a guy who also, he has a massive tank. We know that. We know that from time trials and all the preseason stuff.
So it's what happened?
Because him in the Richmond game at the start, really good.
Yeah.
He's getting down the wing. He's one of the players where when he kicks that ball, I actually trust it's going to go where it's meant to go.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't find the ball enough. So look, I think it's got to be D. I'd love to give him a D+, but I'm an honest man.
Great. Awesome.
Now, we need you to be honest with this one, Marnie.
Yes.
This one's going to be an interesting one.
Yes.
William Phillips.
Realistically.
It's low.
Yeah, I mean, look, he obviously had.
Not saying it's all his fault as well.
Okay, let's just get real here. He played one good game against Nick Dacos.
I would say his call up against West Coast was good on Yo as well for the 3 quarters he was in.
So, but he got subbed off in that game.
He did, yeah, but he was a late inclusion.
So he got subbed off. So in the 2 best games he's played all season against Dacos and Yo, he was subbed out in both games.
Yeah, to be fair to him,
I reckon he was probably cooked.
He was probably cooked 'cause he didn't play.
Game.
Imagine chasing Dacos around. Imagine chasing Dacos around all the time when you haven't played. He was a late inclusion for the West Coast one.
Yeah.
So and Yo is a tank. So he's probably getting bullied. I'm not too worried about getting subbed off. I don't think it was because he wasn't performing. It was more because of him getting cooked.
Yeah.
I think, what was the game after that? Was that after the it was the Melbourne one, and he didn't really tag in that. Oliver didn't do much in that game. Look, he probably had 2, maybe 3 good games at most.
Yeah, so, and this is someone who we're like hanging our hats on. I'm happy to, obviously you want to be patient, but like how patient can you really be?
Did you expect him to play more though? Because last year he was getting dropped randomly. We were all saying this sort of stuff last year.
I thought this would be the year that he would get 20 games.
Okay.
And we'd find out if, he really was it or not. He has earned himself a 1-year contract. So in my mind, that would be a pass from the coaches, and they've seen enough to give him another contract. I'd probably say a C-. I
was going to say C-.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think underwhelming for what we were hoping and what we thought.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's his fault, because I think he got dropped a lot when it probably wasn't necessary, especially towards the end of the year.
But then also, like, why is he not fit? Like, this is the thing.
I
is it still this glandular fever thing? Like,
has he
still not recovered from it properly? So I think definitely underwhelming, but he shut down Dacos, which is no easy feat. He probably got the better of Oliver, no easy feat. Played a very good game on Yo, also no easy feat, and then earned himself a year contract.
Yeah. But didn't play as many games as we thought.
Wasn't as consistent.
Not necessarily had to cement himself, but he wasn't even close to being, like, I think every week we were like, Will Phillips could be dropped. Well, not necessarily because of his form, but we know what Clarkson is apparently like with him for some reason. Is C- too harsh then?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I think we had it, and at the end of the day, Liam Shields was also tagging for portions of the season, and if you're picking if you're picking Shields over Phillips, that's a big issue.
Yeah, I agree.
So
because that's the one we look at all the time. We're like, hopefully he gets more opportunity next year because Shields is going to go, but then we're 80% probably going to draft a midfielder, and then if we get a Parker or a McRae or someone along those lines, I still think we're looking at the same situation for Will Phillips next year. So,
well, if you're not good enough, get out. Like that, I love Will Phillips. I love all of them. Obviously, everyone knows, but we need to actually get serious. For those who don't know, we're recording on Saturday in the first week of the finals. I was at the MCG last night. I watched Hawthorn just completely dismantle the Bulldogs.
Yeah. Yep, 100%.
They spent a season two seasons at the bottom of the ladder.
Yep.
And now they're walking into a semi.
I mean, look, I kind of agree with what I'm about to say and kind of don't, but like they had the foundation to sort of pick it up and carry on, to be honest. I mean, Sam Mitchell had been groomed, for lack of a better word, to be the coach of that club. Played his whole career there. Clarkson trained him and he basically just took over the reins. He was there when they drafted all those guys. It's almost just like a passing of the torch where Clarkson coming into our club in absolute disarray. Years of bad drafting by Joyce and Brad Scott and all that sort of stuff. We're starting from one of the lowest bases in AFL history right now. So look, that being said, I don't disagree with you as well. We need to start next year, and this is way too early because we've got so much to talk about before.
Of course.
But like if we don't improve, if we don't get minimum 6 to 8 wins next year, I'm pretty concerned about the future.
Yeah, so am I.
Look, anyway, that conversation is for a later date. Will Phillips C-, Charlie Lazaro. Marnie.
It's not an F because he played, but like it's probably like an E.
We'll go D and F. E's not a thing in the school system, so D. I was going to say D-.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's not an F.
Yeah, we're going on high school system. Yeah, Marnie. I agree, especially after his preseason. Really exciting, and he was probably preferred to Powell and Phillips.
Well, I had him in my
pre-season.
22, my best 22 at the start of the year.
I think most people would have after his preseason performances, but
also last season he had an excellent season in the VFL, and I know it's obviously completely different, but he made the All Australia, like the VFL version of the All Australian last year as well. He made the team, so I think he's too good to play VFL, but like he's just not clicking at AFL level at North anyway at the moment. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with Charlie at the end of the year.
Yeah. I guess they didn't give him an extension, did they?
No, I'd love a world where he stays, but I don't know if we're in that world right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say D minus.
D minus, unfortunately. Okay, so we're on to the ruckman. We've got 3 ruckmen to pick here. I'm
going to let Josh take the floor.
No,
How's that hesitant?
I've more than made up for my preseason Tristan Xerri predictions. I've done my time.
Good.
I'm now out, not even on bail, out on goodwill, on good faith.
Yes.
And I'm the leader of the Tristan Xerri fan club. We know that.
Yes, you are.
It's nothing but an A+. And
no,
absolutely. Can we put it's A++. Now I'm putting that on Charlie Lazaro's.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, D minus plus for Charlie Lazaro. I'm going to give 2 pluses for Tristan Xerri. There's no bigger improvement, arguably in AFL history, from one season to the next, to the next, to another, to the next. I've podcasted before. There's no bigger improvement in AFL history. There can't be. Not you can't go from, and I think a lot of fans agree with this. Like most people didn't want to see him get in the team at all. I didn't want to see him play a game.
Yeah, I was definitely concerned about our ruck.
Anyone who thought that they knew he'd be this, you're lying to yourself.
There was definitely...
Doesn't mean there was nothing there. But
no, there was definitely support of Xerri, but I don't think anyone would have predicted this rise.
No,
this quickly as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's earned himself a 4-year contract extension.
Absolutely.
He made the All-Australian squad. He matched it with the best in the competition. He comprehensively beat just about the rest. That game where we played Essendon and he went up against Todd Goldstein was definitely the moment when I sat there.
Who's your daddy moment?
It's just sort of like, we made the right call.
I'm the
here.
boss now.
And he just went from strength to strength
All right,
after that.
old man. I love you, Goldie. I'm so sorry.
We love Goldie.
I love Goldie. We all love Goldie.
Actually love Todd Goldstein. But
build the statue of Todd Goldstein outside Arden Street. It's A++++. Cult hero, wears a helmet. That gets him a plus anyway. And just a good bloke because he liked the helmet day and he came and took a photo. So,
I really hope that we can see him back it up next year now.
Well, that's the test, isn't it? That's the test, is absolutely come back and back it up.
Take care and run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. The next 2 didn't play all season, so we can talk about them a little bit. We won't bother ranking them. Taylor Goad, very concerned what's going on with Taylor Goad in the VFL. Doesn't play ruck, plays like fullback for some reason. I don't know if that's just to get him around the ball a bit more.
Potentially. I mean,
he is very, very young. This is going to be a 5+ year project.
And traditionally, as you can see with Tristan Xerri, rucks do take longer to develop.
They do.
And it's so rare that you actually find ruckman being drafted. Taylor Goad's probably actually an exception to the rule.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got our second ruckman from the mid-season draft.
Yes.
In the second round.
And he performed well.
Who's already in his mid-20s. And most teams will look to state league or they'll look to just trade from other
a more
clubs.
mature body or a more developed
it's quite rare where you just bring someone in from the draft and, sort of let them develop. So
look, we're not giving up on Taylor Goad, obviously. I just think he's putting up Jacob Edwards numbers. He's getting like 3 touches a game, Marnie, and I'm really concerned. But hey, it's going to be a long-term thing, and I hope he's our backup ruckman / forward one day.
Yeah,
or Brintico, actually, sign him on to 10 years. Hamish Free is the other one, the guy who was keeping Goad out of the ruck, and that is also more concerning because Hamish Free has never even looked like playing an AFL game.
Shame.
Did improve a lot this year, started getting some proper VFL quality numbers, but keeping a more talented guy in Taylor Goad out of the ruck, I'm very confused what the go is there.
Well, I guess this probably would have been his season, but again, you've gone to the mid-season draft, you've taken a Bryn Teakle. He didn't even get half a look in.
Didn't even get a half a look in, no, and didn't deserve it, to be fair. So free, there's no way, Hamish, we're gonna set him free this year. And you can go back to Perth and dominate the waffle, and then we'll draft you in the mid-season draft. So that will be fun.
In a few years' time.
Oh,
Nice.
well, probably next year. Anyway, yeah, they're the two. We're not going to rank them, but hope Go turns out, but I'm really confused what they're doing with him. And Free, he's got Lego hair, so that's fun. Anyway.
Wow. Okay.
That's the rankings.
This has been a rogue.
This has been very rogue, but this is
we actually made it.
We made it.
In one piece.
I thought when we were doing the George Wardlaw one, I thought there's no way we're going to finish this podcast.
With smiles
Marnie
on
doesn't
our faces.
understand what the rankings mean, and I'm going to have to stop and explain them again. Anyway,
Sorry, we made it, guys. It's
let's go back through, and you just give me a rapid fire, yes or high or low.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. What your gut tells you.
Yeah.
LDU B plus. Is that fair or not? That means no. George Wardlaw B minus. Is that fair?
I'm not commenting.
Not commenting
I'm
on
not
that one.
commenting.
Too close to home. I think they're both pretty fair. Harry Sheasel A plus. Can't
Fair,
argue with that.
yeah.
Tom Powell A minus.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think maybe slightly high. I would have gone maybe B plus, but we're so close, so it doesn't matter. Jai Simpkins C minus. Fair.
I'd probably go C, but
Ooh, okay. Well, do we want to discuss it again? Do we want to go over it and double check? Great podcasting, Marnie. Please say something.
I don't know.
I know you don't know. Why did you bring up the discussion?
I don't know.
All right, screw it. Jai Simpkin, you get a C minus. The minus is just because of Marnie. Curtis Taylor, his potential, A plus. His actual season, C.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hugh Greenwood, D plus.
I'm not dummy spitting. It's
Okay.
fair.
Bailey Scott, B minus.
Yeah.
Liam Shields, A minus.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Confident. Dylan Stevens, D.
Fair.
Say this one with some chest, Marnie. Will Phillips, C minus.
Fair.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Charlie Lazaro, D minus.
Fair.
Sherry, A plus plus.
Yeah.
Probably
Fair.
not ranked high enough. Goad and Free,
No rankings.
no ranking. That is also fair.
Yeah.
That is it. What do you think of the episode, Marnie? Did you have fun?
I'm so anxious.
Oh my God. It's going to be so funny to see the comments. Please, guys, comment on Marnie's performance today.
Guys,
is
I
she
was
in
rattled.
the off-season as well? Because Marnie's not in mid-season
rattled.
form right
I'm
now.
just thinking about the Sid Barker next weekend already.
Well,
That's where my mind is.
We're going to get you back on for that too,
You're having me back after this.
potentially. Only because you're my only insider for the Sid
Wow.
Barker.
Okay.
And you're really friendly, so sometimes. So it's
Am
great.
I? I don't know.
Well, when you
After this
understand the rules of what we're doing, you're great.
Yeah, I'm fine,
So,
guys.
yeah. Once Marnie has
finishing
read,
up on a high.
yeah. Once she's read the memo, and knows exactly what
Once
we're
like
doing.
my brain processed.
Yeah. Which
What?
did you like dial-up internet today? You like there's a lot.
Showing my age.
Yeah, you know one of those cars you got a crank at the front from like 1930. That's kind of what you were like today, Marty. But hey, we're rolling now,
Oh, jeez.
and we're cruising downhill.
Mentally, I'm in Bali with the boys.
Wowee, you see George Wardlaw's shirtless pic?
No.
Oh, it was a classic. It's classic George Wardlaw because like and it looks like an Adonis.
Yeah.
But he has the George Wardlaw kind of baby face, but kind of not. Like kind of like George, live your best life, mate.
Yeah, what a king.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I was partying with George Wardlaw this off season. So
Same.
George, if you're listening and you want to party, Bayswater's pretty good. Got the Bayswater pub. That's pretty sweet. So
You've never taken me to the Bayswater pub.
didn't ask me, Marnie.
Can we go to the Bayswater pub?
Not tonight, no. I'm over it. Maybe another time. Maybe after the Sid Barker.
He's had enough of me.
Absolutely, 100%. I need to go to sleep. We're going to the AFLW.
We are going to AFLW tomorrow.
Yes,
Very
I think this
excited.
will be out. I'm going to put this out the morning of the game. So this will be out tomorrow morning because we're recording on Saturday
Just
afternoon.
Sunday morning. We're playing the Cats at Arden Street at
Cats at Arden
3:05 this afternoon.
Maybe we'll post up on the story sort of where we're hanging out at the ground if people want to come and say hello.
Done.
We'll be there. Want to come and see Vicky Wall belt some people, which will be very, very fun. She's my favourite player.
She's the great pick as well.
She's my favourite player. I'm going to start a campaign to get her on the podcast. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
We're going to get Vicky Wall on. Please, Vicky, if you're listening. I'm sure she's not. Anyway, I'll yell at you from the sideline and say, Vicky, come and say hello, please. Come on the podcast. And she'll punch someone and then tackle someone and then fend off someone and go, okay.
impressive. What an impressive player.
All in like a half a second gap as well. So it's going to be an incredible time.
Bang, bang, bang.
We'll see you guys down at the game. Please get down there. I'm sure there'll be tickets available still on the day. So it's meant to be 17 and sunny, a little bit of cloud.
Come and hang out with us. Come and say hi.
And
I promise I'll be in a better mood.
Well, geez, I hope so, Marnie. Otherwise, we might be standing on opposite sides of the field. Anyway, if Marnie's in a good mood, come and say hello to her. I'll always be in a good mood because I'm going to have a big sleep tonight. It's going to be very fun. And I'm sure Carlton will get belted, which will make me even more happy.
He's really riling me up, guys.
I knew she'd hate that too.
If you can't make it down to the game, but you do want to keep up to date with everything Further North, you can follow us on socials. We are Further North Pod at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Hi, YouTube, if you're watching.
Fantastic
you can
job.
send Josh all your fan mail to furthernorthpod@gmail.com.
That is true.
We'll see you at the AFLW, and if not, we will see you very, very soon.
Yeah, you'll hear from Marnie again post Sid Barker, I would say. If not, if breaking news happens and there's no one else, we'll get Marnie back. So, yeah.
No one else.
I'm joking. You're my first option. You know you're my first option,
Thank
Marnie.
you. I just wanted you to say it.
This is more your pod than mine. That's what everyone thinks now anyway, to be fair. Well,
I'm not going to argue with that.
No, I mean, look, how many shout-outs did you get on the round table pod? With
That was, thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, I really, really appreciate that.
No worries.
Bailey, Dean, and Jason, love your work.
Yes, thank you for letting me on your podcast, Marnie. Anyway,
Anytime.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We're
We'll see
hanging
you
out a lot.
guys tomorrow.
And go North, big win. I'm going to tip us by 45.
Wow, it's been a long time since I've been able to say that.
How that and you know why I stuttered? Because I said we're going to win by, and then my brain froze. I'm like, what do I do?
What's a win?
What do I do? And then
I'm proud of you. We got there in
how
the
many?
end.
Okay, give me a tip.
Oh, maybe 5 goals? 5, 6 goals?
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Put your multis on now. Get your sports bet up. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
That was great. That was very blunt.
We're done.